What's up everybody, my name is Ashley and today I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to take better real estate photos. Let's jump in. Tip number 1. Use a wide angle lens. A wide angle lens will allow you to capture more of the space and layout of rooms, something that you just simply can't do with a normal standard lens. To check if your smartphone has a wide angle lens, open your camera app and look for the 0.6x icon. It might also be 0.5 or 0.7 depending on the phone. It is important to note that not all phones will have this option available. Tip number 2. Use grid lines. Grid lines are used to make sure your horizontal and vertical lines are straight. Inside your camera app, click on the settings icon and scroll down until you see the option grid lines. They are also used to help with symmetry and equal spacing, which helps give a balanced photo and is a lot more pleasant on the eye. When taking photos, it's important to keep your vertical lines straight. Avoid angling the camera upwards or downwards, as this will bend your vertical lines. This is an example of a camera pointed downward. You can see the vertical lines aren't straight. This is an example of the camera tilted upward. Sometimes you can get away with shots like this for certain rooms and certain angles, but for the majority of the time it is better to have the photo taken at a level around your waist and with all the vertical lines straight, like this. Tip number 3. Lighting and preparation. Before taking any photos, it's important to go through the house and make sure all the lights are on, curtains are open, and any objects that you don't want seen are out the way. Make sure all the toilet seats are down. You never want to take a photo with the toilet seat up. If you find yourself in a tricky situation where there's not good lighting or there's no electricity, you can try taking the photo in night mode. Not all phones will have night mode. To check if you do, go into your camera app and check under the More option. Taking a photo in night mode means that the picture will be taken over a period of time, so to allow more light into the camera sensor. Make sure you hold your phone as still as possible to get the best results. Tip number 4. Positioning. For real estate photography, the majority of your photos will be straight on shots or corner shots. Here are some examples of straight on shots. Notice how all the vertical lines are straight, all the horizontal lines are straight, the image isn't skewed at all, and it's pretty symmetrical. This is why the grid lines are so important, as it allows you to line up your horizontal and vertical lines with the grid. Here are some examples of some corner shots. It's important to keep your spacing equal so that your composition looks more balanced. Another great way to enhance your photos is by adding depth. You do this by having objects in the foreground of your subject. So for example, you can see here the sliding door handle is just off to the left corner of this photo, as it helps create depth and also transitions the photos from going from one room to the other. Using some branches or trees outside is also a great way of adding depth, as it helps layer your image. If the property has a swimming pool, a great photo is always standing behind the pool looking back at the house. Sometimes it's nice to get nice and low, get close to the pool, add that layer of depth, and you're good to go. Tip number 5. Camera settings. It is important to take your pictures in a 16:9 aspect ratio. This is the preferred aspect ratio of all the property websites, and remember to always take your photos in landscape, never portrait. To correctly expose your photos and adjust the focus, tap on the part of the screen you want to be in focus. You will notice that your phone will automatically make adjustments depending on where you tap. If you want to increase or decrease the brightness, you can adjust the slider below. This might vary on phone to phone. Once you have all your settings dialed and are happy with how it looks, take the photo. This brings us on to tip number 6, editing. This is where we can correct any mistakes made when taking the photo. On your photo that you have just taken, select the little edit button above the picture. This is where you can correct any mistakes made when taking the photo, mainly used for straightening and brightening the photos. You do want to make sure that your photos aren't overexposed and are too bright, as it will leave the colors washed out and won't look nice at all. And that wraps it up for the tips today. I hope these tips have helped you and that you take better photos so that your listings can stand out.